more I think about it, it might have been 2001. My son came running up and at probably about 6:30 in the morning, about that time, woke us up saying that he'd just seen an alien on the front veranda. Now, he's not a kid who made up stories or anything like that. As far as I can tell, alien was the only thing, that was his reference point, hence why he said an alien. I went downstairs with him, but he said it had well gone. What he'd done is actually gone down, sat in a ensuite off a bedroom that wasn't unused, but that had a direct view out through the door of the bathroom onto the front veranda. It was quite a big picture window. So he was sitting there, and then he saw what I was going to say, what I think really is a yowie, which sort of loped across the front of the windows. He said it was sort of hunched over. Said that was his impression, was hunched over. His arms sort of bit out in front of it. It had longish reddish hair, and it looked at him as it went past, and he said it had glowing red eyes. And then he went upstairs to tell us. You've got the Wallamai over on one side, and then on the other side you've got all that bushland and all that range there that runs around sort of Hartley and all that.
Hartley, we've had two other sightings in Hartley. We had one in 2007 on Cox's River Road. That one was about 8 or 9 feet tall, grey hair, standing in a paddock initially at 2 a.m. Our witness, Becky, she saw it. It stepped over a fence. It took about 2 or 3 steps to get across the road right in front of her, and she had a great look at it. And then in 2015, there was a 5 foot tall, this one was black and hunched over as you're describing. That too was just outside a house there in Hartley, so not too far away. With this description, did he estimate how tall this thing may have been?
In that part of the house, it would have had to have been at least 6 foot. I reckon, at least 6 foot.
What time of year was this? Was this winter or summer?
I suspect it was more summertime and not winter. I remember it was pretty early in the morning.
There's another similar story to yours. It happened at Thara, that Tharwa, which is just below Canberra. We've received 2 previous encounters, 2003, 2006. Then in 2017, there's a family driving through the area, heavily wooded area. They'd been on a dirt road, and the 5.5-year-old son sitting in the back seat says, "Dad, I've just seen a big black man and he looks like the devil." 5.5-year-old, I guess that's that they have different terminologies to us. And he said this man, this black man with the black face, was squatting down behind a tree hiding, and he was looking out from behind the tree. This creature and the child, they locked eyes as they drove past. He was trying to tell his dad what he'd seen. The dad was very curious, and he didn't want to play it up too much to a 5-year-old, so he referred to it as a bushman. He said, "Well, what did the bushman look like? What was the bushman doing? How big was this bushman?" And the child said, "Well, he was squatting behind the tree, he was looking out, and when he was squatting, he still would have been up to about your shoulders." So therefore it was fairly large. Children have sightings just like adults do. Why wouldn't they?
I agree. And at the time I really thought about what stuff he'd been exposed to through, TV and film and all that, and there was just nothing that even resembled anything like that. He's just not the lying sort of child,
Is there anything further in the description you can add?
No, I can't, no.
Had you ever seen or heard of anything strange in that area before?
Well, I'd actually seen the biggest black cat I've ever seen in my life up on a rock in between Mount Vic and Bell, driving home one day in the afternoon. It was probably late afternoon, and as you drive on the Darling Causeway from Mount Vic to Bell, you've got Hartley on your left-hand side, and there's a long part of it. There's a rise off to the right with a railway on the top, but there's a particular rock that's there it's a large rock with a flat top, and that rock's right in front of you as I come around to sort of the bend, and I noticed just a big black cat. That just went into my head straight away. It was like, that's a black cat up there, just lounging along the top of the rock in the sun. So it would have been nice and warm, and I can't remember what time of the year or anything like that it was. And I shot past 100 miles an hour as I was doing, thinking, oh my God, have I seen it, And then I talked to friends about it.
What year would you presume this was?
That would have been between the 2000 and 2005 mark, sometime in those years there. And I've got something else if you're interested in, here in Katoomba. It's okay one night. I don't know if you know Katoomba at all, but it's down in a place called the Gully, which is like Aboriginal heritage area and all this. One night we were leaving work at about 11 o'clock at night. It was quite misty. A midnight light was floating along through the air. I'd say that the light was like a ball with like a little flame dancing around in the centre, but it was pretty close. I mean, it was probably, I'd say, close to 6 metres away, probably about 2 metres up in the air, probably 3 metres high, and we just watched it, bobbling along, and then it just sort of went off. We couldn't see it anymore. We were both just like, oh my God, what was that, And the years passed, I've talked to other people and they said, it was probably a midnight light. It would have been about 2002, 2003.
You say it was only 6 metres away from the car, so you would have had a good look at it.
Yep, really good. It looked like a flame that was just alive, that was inside a circular thing, which was sort of glowing. That was what it was. Like, we were just quite transfixed by this flame that was floating through the air. That was the impression,
What colour was it and how large was it?
It seemed to be about basketball size, I'd say about that. And it was like a yellowish white light.
Do you think it was translucent or solid?
I think it was translucent.
Did it seem to have any intelligence?
It was going in a direction. It was heading in a westerly direction, and it was absolutely still. There was no wind. There was no breeze or anything. It was clear. 6 metres away. The visibility was fine at 6 metres. Yeah, it was heading in a westerly direction.
Describe the last moments of it as it was heading off.
It just sort of just bobbled off into the darkness and just faded off from into view. It didn't go out. I'm quite certain it did not go out. It just kept on moving away from us.
When it was moving away from you, what sort of distance from the ground? Was it heading up towards the sky, or was it going along the ground?
I'd say it was probably between 3 to 4 metres off the ground, and it sort of stayed at that level as it was going along.
Were there any trees or obstacles for it to avoid?
No.
Was it going along a road? Was it a field?
I guess it was basically following the bottom of the gully.
There was only one?
There was only one, yep.
How many people witnessed it?
2. Myself and my co-worker.
There weren't many people around at the time, I take it?
No, because it was 11:30 at night. We were leaving work.
In the area of Dargan, have you heard of Yowie reports before from anyone you knew?
No, I haven't, no. Reluctant to actually talk about it, to be honest with you. Pretty careful about who actually mentioned any of it too.
Describe to me the terrain surrounding the house.
Well, the house is perched on top of a ridge top. There's probably about 2 acres of flat ground. The back of the house drops off immediately down into bushland. Deep, narrow gullies that are shooting off down below.
I've got everything here. I've got a cat, I've got min lights, I've got the Yowie report. It's just amazing what people see that they don't talk about.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, yeah. In California, and they declared all the mountain lions that were dead, extinct. No, they weren't. They were just really good at hiding from human beings. I mean,
That's right. They're taught from an upbringing that humans, they're dangerous.
That's right.
The same with the Tasmanian Tiger. They're blasted out of humanity, basically. A dollar value on every pelt because they were having massive stock losses back in the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. Poverty was ripe and rampant back in the day, and most people were hunters just naturally because of the art of survival, and so they got blasted out of existence. But the problem with the extinction bit, people are still seeing them. I saw one in Hazelbrook in 98, and this is a funny story. I'm there waiting for the big guy, living in Castle Hill. I was travelling up to the Blue Mountains probably 3 nights a week. And back in 97, I think I had a box Brownie camera, if you remember what they were. It had a flash range of about 3 metres, and it had a flashlight. So, I mean, that was the pinnacle of my technology at that stage. I'm hiding on the side of this track. It's a moonlit night, beautiful view out the track in front of me. And I'm hiding and I'm waiting. I've been there for several hours. and I could hear this noise coming through the bush. No, that's not it. Whatever that is, that's on 4 legs. That's not 2 legs. That's not heavy. So I'm just sort of sitting there waiting to see what this thing is. And out on the track, from the other side of the bush, comes this stupid-looking dog. I've seen it before, just couldn't put my finger on it. And it's got its nose to the ground, it's on the scent of something, and it is not interested in me whatsoever. It's going up and down right in front of me. I'm talking maybe 2-3 metres away from me. I had a camera in my hand with the finger on the button, and guess what I did? I went, shh, go away. And I'm waving this creature away, and it's not taking any notice of me. It didn't care. Contrary to researchers' belief that say, they're such timid creatures and they're highly fearful of humans, well, guess what? This thing wasn't. And so I'm looking at this thing and I'm soaking it and I'm going, I've seen this before. It's sort of lowish to the ground. He's kind of long. He's got a long snout, but he's sort of pig-nosed at the end, a little bit more than a dog. I mean, sort of like not pig-nosed, but maybe a little bit squarer. These stripes. He's got stripes from the back of his shoulder arches going all the way down the back of his body, and then they go up the bridge of this thick, rigid tail that goes out the back. And I'm going, what is it? Go away, you're going to give out my position. And so this thing finally trots off somewhere. It was plaguing me for the rest of the night, and made the hour trip home back to Castle Hill, and I had a book there called Out of the Shadows, and it's got all sorts of Australian animals. Flipped open a couple of pages, and here's a full page of this creature, and it said Thylacine. Some people spend their entire lives these days trying to get a photo of these things, and here I am shooing it away with my camera. They were back in my early days.
Oh God! Yeah. Look, I've got to say, I've got a phone that'll take a photo, right? And but I'm just of that age group. I think that it doesn't occur to me that I've got a phone with a camera.
That's it. And if something spontaneous happens in front of you, first of all, your eyes are on the subject. Your brain is trying to digest what it is, process what to do about it. Then if you do go to your phone, you bring it out. Most people have to unlock them these days. Then you've got to go to your camera app and then take a photo. And in which case, as far as the Yowie is concerned, it's not there. It's gone. He's not sticking around for you.